welcome back. You already know who it is. It's your boy MadeMenMelo coming to you back live with some more video game trailer reactions. We got a hands-on preview of the upcoming Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. This game is growing on me. At first I was a bit tedious. I was like, okay, let me see what they got going for us. And as time has progressed and videos progress, I'm starting to get the dig of it, starting to get a hang of it, getting used to the different character models. That was a big point. Getting used to the character models, and hey, I'm definitely gonna get it a try. Definitely. I still kind of, so on it being a single player and not being able to use all of the Guardians because you just play with Star-Lord. So I want to see how can they not let that be a weakness per se, you want to say. But looking forward to it, learning some new things, especially more about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just know them, or in Ronan, and pretty much more of the space theme, like Galactus, Fantastic, that realm. I never not like actual deep into the Marvel's Galaxy lore and the stories they got. So this will be a definitely good show for me. So yeah, this will be a definite good introduction into that lore and get me more into what the Guardians of the Galaxy all about. Let's go and take a look.
I'll be honest, when I first saw the reveal of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, I was a little skeptical. Not of the tone, nor the story or the art design, but of the simple looking combat that threatened to underwhelm. But after spending roughly an hour and a half hands-on with it, I couldn't be happier to have been proven wrong. Guardians combat is highly enjoyable, and a lot more complex than I first gave it credit for. And at the end of my short time with it, I found myself just wanting to play more. My sample of the combat came as part of Chapter 5 of the campaign. No big spoilers here at all, but at this point in the story, the Guardians have racked up a considerable amount of debt that needs to be paid to the Nova Corps. In order to pay that fine, they must head to the Rock, a Nova outpost. Things aren't quite as they should be on arrival though. It's eerily quiet, and evidence of a conflict can be found. After a short period of exploration, I stumbled into some glowing Nova Corps members, who are quite clearly not in their right mind. Naturally, things kicked off. There are many layers to the combat system, so bear with me here, but the closest analogue I can find to it is, surprisingly, Guardian's Square Enix stablemate Final Fantasy VII Remake. No, seriously, like in that game, Guardians is about controlling a primary character and issuing quick-fire commands to your allies as the chaos unfurls. There's no character swapping here though, you're only ever Star-Lord. Star-Lord can lock onto targets and blast them with his dual pistols. These have a cool elemental alt-fire mode, and the tap of the D-pad switches between 4 different ammo types: lightning, ice,
like that
wind,
how you pulled them
fire.
towards them.
I only had the ice option available during my session, but I found it to be particularly effective, especially when I was inundated with enemies and needed to slow them down. There's no ammo to pick up for these pistols. Instead, they operate on an overheat system that requires a well-timed trigger pull to reload efficiently, a la Gears of War's active reload, and that's an all-timer mechanic that I frankly can't blame any shooter for borrowing. Ranged combat can be paired with fast melee attacks to quickly build up enemy stagger bars, which when full allows you to activate team takedown attacks to deal heavy damage. Then there are Star-Lord's signature abilities, which can be periodically used by awkwardly pushing in the left analog stick and selecting the move you'd like to perform with the face buttons. These abilities include Fan the Hammer, which lets you rain a torrent of ice-bolt bullets in a straight line that melt anyone in your path, and my personal favourite, Eye of the Hurricane, which launches you into the air before unleashing a spiral of grenades that have a wide area of effect and deal heavy stagger damage. Further abilities can be unlocked using skill points that you'll earn as you level up. Keeping up? Good. because that's only half of it.
Nice.
While you aren't able to directly control the other members of the team in combat, you do get to command them, which at times turns the battlefield into a real-time tactics arena. This is where the Final Fantasy VII remake of it all comes into play. Holding down the left shoulder button will bring up the option to use the other Guardian's abilities. For example, Groot can be instructed to tie up a targeted enemy in his tendrils, which can then be followed up with an instruction to Gamora to leap in and slice that enemy up for big damage. It's a very fun combat system to play around with, requiring split-second decisions within the chaos. Adding further to this is if you do enough damage consistently, you'll build up the momentum meter, which when full allows you to huddle up. This unique mechanic not only grants you a few moments of respite, but also gives stat buffs to either the full team or just Star-Lord, depending on if you selected the optimal dialogue option. Undoubtedly my favourite part of this though is when the action resumes and a random 80s hit from Star-Lord's playlist soundtracks the fight. And sure, we're not gonna take it by Twisted Sister just makes sense for an occasion like this, but there's something even more contrapuntially delightful about listening to Hot Chocolate's Everyone's a Winner while Rocket fires explosives into a poor soul's face. It's a complex combat system to wrap your head around, but the more time I spent with it, the more comfortable I became and the more fun I had with it. With multiple unlockable abilities for each character, there's a wealth of different combinations to try out and find out what works best for each situation. You'll have to think about that too. It's challenging at times, and these aren't encounters you can simply button bash your way through. When all the systems come together, it can feel a bit like trying to juggle several lit fireworks, which could result in a beautiful explosive display of firepower, or just as equally blow up in your face if you aren't paying attention. The team throws out witty one-liners during combat, but also has great moments of interaction during cutscenes and exploration. From this small slice, Guardian seems very well written and crucially, funny.
I see you have discovered my criminal record.
Providing further opportunities for good dialogue is the Guardian's ship, the Milano. Here I spent time soaking up my spacious spaceship surroundings and talking to my crewmates. It doesn't feel a galaxy away from strolling around Mass Effect's Normandy in that regard, checking in on my friends between missions and strengthening bonds. In a short amount of time, I managed to squeeze in a heart-to-heart with Rocket about his unpleasant run-in with Kree scientists, blasted out some Rick Astley from the onboard heat-filled music system, and even met a purple llama with a floppy head.
We have a llama?
Orange hair. All of this is
we have a purple llama
away in tone from the two James Gunn MCU movies, and so very much feels part of the Guardians of the Galaxy lineage. Eidos Montreal has, however, made the characters feel distant enough from previous iterations, which has helped it avoid stumbling into the dreaded uncanny valley that Crystal Dynamics Marvel's Avengers occasionally did. Further respect is paid to the relatively short history of these characters by the dozen or so unlockable outfits for each member. I found a couple of these while exploring the dark corners of the Nova Corps base I was visiting, and they can also be rewards for solving puzzles that act as a break from the high-octane action. While not overly complex, these challenges varied from using my ice ammunition to freeze a rotating gear in place, to turning digital connectors Watchdog style to power up a grid. It looks like Guardians will try to switch things up on occasion, and not rely too heavily on its admittedly fun combat. Ultimately, I came away far more excited to play Guardians of the Galaxy than I had been prior to my time with it. There's a surprising amount of depth on
like I said, the more I see, the more interested and more I want to play.
Plenty of unlockables and player choice available throughout its systems. All of this while also blaring out Take On Me, The Final Countdown or Hanging Tough? Sign me up. For more Guardians of the Galaxy, why not check out the latest trailer? And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Yes sir! Alrighty, yeah, just he explained pretty much that bit except for the part of the combat. I was fine with the combat. I figured it was going to be like that. I wouldn't see the combat be turn-based, but more of that Final Fantasy remake base where, you know, like they said before, you call out commands and then everybody reacts while you're fighting at the same time. The more I see it, the more I hear about it, the more I'm visually looking at what it does and what they have. I just don't want them to go away with it as soon as you go. Like, just keep it there. Like, what you're showing, let it be throughout the entire game. Like, no breaks. You know, like they had the where you can explore the ship. That is the break. You get what I'm saying? Like, that is the break. Not like if you get done with one chapter and then you spend another literally 30, 45 minutes of gameplay doing just not even necessarily having any missions left and stuff like that. It's like, you're just sitting there and not doing much of anything. Like, I want to be in space. I want to be fighting aliens. I want to go these planets. I want to do this stuff. So it looks good. I'm definitely wanting to play it. Definitely. So thank you for tuning in. This your boy MadeMenMelo. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. I appreciate everybody. Hit that comment as well. Tell me what you think. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Peace.